Here's the thing about going to failure. Not going to failure does not mean that you're not working hard enough. There are lots of contexts in which going to failure is a good and necessary thing to progress. But people are going to separate failure into a couple of different categories. I'm going to just say two, one being technical failure and one being all out failure. Technical failure is going to be like you could get to a point where, say, you're squatting and like your squats are going great. You're feeling like good on the way down, good on the way back up, nice, pausing exactly where you need to. And then you're going to have one rep where you get down here, you start to like tilt forward, or your arms shift, or like your shoulder starts to like wobble a little bit. Takes a little bit longer to get back up. Some people would say that at that point, you've reached technical failure. If you're doing something like powerlifting and you're not doing maximal sets where you're trying to lift as much as possible in a given amount of reps, then like you might say, that's where I'm going to stop, because I'm not trying to get better at grinding up a weight. I'm trying to get better at lifting this weight with good form. So that's where I'm going to stop. Now, failure in the like maximal sense would be you did that, you got all the way down, you grinded one up, you've got like a buddy or a coach standing behind you like, one more. Then you get down, you do that set. It feels like it takes 10 minutes to get that bar up to your shoulders again, or up to that rack. Then you finish it. I'm going to say at that point, you have probably gone to maximum or gone to like full failure. You can even take it further and say, you did that. Your coach said like, nope, get back down there. You get down, you start pushing up and you can't make it go. You have to bail out of the squat. So that's like two different types of failure. And I'm going to pause there so I can do my set. But there are obviously going to be more interpretations if you want to use different words about it. But next bit on failure. So that's like powerlifting, heavy lifting, compound lifts, which like I think a lot of people are very familiar with what that version of failure looks like. Now, when we're talking about bodybuilding or hypertrophy style training, hypertrophy meaning like muscle get bigger, essentially. If you are talking about hypertrophy training, there's a couple of different evidence-based approaches that you can follow. One of those evidence-based approaches is trying to increase the overall volume of your lifts from session to session, from week to week, from month to month, year to year, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? That means if you start the first time you're lifting, you do like 3 sets of 10, and then next week you think, okay, well, I can either go up 5 pounds or I can do another set in each of these. So you do 3 sets of 11, you do 3 sets of 12, you do 3 sets of 13, like all the way up to 15, whatever you want to do. Like at some point, maybe you add an extra set. So you're doing 4 sets of 10, 4 sets of 11, 4 sets onward and onward. What the research would say is that as long as you are within 2 to 3 reps in reserve, which means that you are 2 to 3 reps away from total failure on those lifts, that you are going to grow your muscles. So you don't have to go to failure every time, especially if you're someone who's new. If you're someone who is within like your first 2 years of training, and I'm going to say 2 years because it's very different for everybody, but if you're within your first 2 years of training, you can make a lot of progress not going to failure much at all. And you will have very low risk as far as your lifts are concerned. So just by increasing your training volume and staying away from total failure or even technical failure, you will make a lot of progress, especially as a new lifter.